it's time to look closer at why Khufu was so bold with his fully accessible pyramid. I am thrilled with how many people welcomed this new idea in the comments, and I commend you for advancing the discussion to a more sophisticated analysis of the pyramids. For anyone new to the channel, I recommend watching my last video on the Great Pyramid to get up to speed on where the research is now headed. However, you can expect Egyptologists to ignore or downplay the discovery as much as possible. Human nature is sadly quite predictable when it comes to matters of self-interest and self-importance. On that note, in this video, we will examine the psychology of self-preservation for the ancient Egyptians. We shall use the pyramids as evidence for what their priorities really were. The security of a tomb was a big concern in ancient Egypt once people started including valuable items in their burials. It created the incentive to disturb the dead, and thus affluent Egyptians needed to weigh the risks and benefits to having precious belongings interred with them. In early dynastic mastabas, there was a hierarchy of protection, whereby material goods were stored in magazines in the outer section of the mastaba. The body of the deceased received greater protection below ground and in the center of the structure. But these outer storerooms proved too easy to plunder, and thus eventually this design was abandoned in favor of keeping fewer grave goods closer to the body of the deceased. Egyptologist Reg Clark observes this change, writing, quote, "Concomitant with these changes, a noticeable increase in the space allocated to cult purposes becomes discernible at Saqqara, perhaps reflecting a change in an aspect of the superstructure's role, from part secure storehouse for grave goods to part chapel for the reception of offerings." End quote. This framework allows us to evaluate what made the Great Pyramid truly great, and to speculate about the reasoning which led to the decision to build the greatest wonder of the ancient world.